Hey guys, Gary J. This trunk on this SRT feels awfully heavy to me. And when I go to pick it up, it's just like, man, this thing's all like dead weight. I mean, it's not horrible, but you got to pick the whole thing up here, and it just seems like it's just dead weight. This position right here, it starts to fall down, and right here it's not too bad. So if you leave it, it'll come on down. I think these support arms right here are a little weak, and I'm going to replace them. Now I have like I bought these right here. They're about for two of them, they're about $64 from AutoZone, and so that's what we're gonna do. Just replace them, and they got plenty of videos on how to pop these little clamps right here out. You don't want to lose them. You just want to pop them out just enough to pull this loose, and then you got one down here at the bottom you got to pop out too, but you don't want to pop it all the way off. So anyway, I'm gonna see if that makes a difference, because it just feels pretty heavy just picking up the trunk. To me, it's a little more heavy than usual. So let's try it. I just popped one rod off. Took 10 seconds to take this one off with a clip, and immediately the trunk comes down. I mean, there's nothing holding the trunk, just taking one of them off. So I mean, it does a lot to hold this trunk up, that's for sure, because it is kind of heavy. So now I need to put a broom handle or something in here to hold the trunk back up all the way. But yeah, those support arms really do a lot to keeping the trunk all the way up. I wanted to check on raising the trunk with that one arm, support arm off, to see if it's heavier. It's about it's probably about 30% heavier picking it up, maybe 30% heavier picking it up without that support arm. So it does have some function in helping you raise this up easily. We're going to find out for sure in just a minute. Okay, here's our ball right here. Yeah, it's got a little grease on it, which is probably good. And you see, we've not prized this one up at all. This is a new one, okay? And this is stabilized lift on that, whatever. Well, this, all you got to do here is just slide it over the ball. See, I slid it over the ball and it just popped right in place. And down here, you do the same thing. Just pull it, and it popped in place. Just check it and see. That's in place. It's 2 minutes, well, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. But again, right here, put your screwdriver in here, pull this up about halfway, not all the way out, pop it off, pull it out, just roll it, and it pops right off. A quick rehash of replacing the air lift on the trunk of the SRT. This is 2008, so these things do wear, lose some of their power. So anyway, in order to take this strut off right here, it's very simple. It takes about 2 minutes. All you have to do is take a screwdriver, flathead like this. There's a little notch right here. Take the screwdriver, put it in that little notch, and put your screwdriver in and turn it and pry this flat spring. Get it, folks. Pry this flat spring about halfway up. You don't want to pry it all the way off, about halfway up. And as you pry it up, you just turn it back and forth, and it pops right off the ball There's a round steel ball that holds this on. Once you pop that one off, you got one down here you got to pop off too. It's got a flat spring. Looks just like this one. And it's got a notch in it just like this one. It's easier for you to take the shock here and roll it down like this. And once you do that, you can get to the flat spring here. This is another shot right here, but you can get to the flat spring easier. And so that's what you would normally do. Just pull it down this way and pop it off and turn it, and it pops right off. I mean, it's just 2 minutes you have this thing off. Okay, but don't prise the spring so far that it flies off. It could hit you, and especially you don't want to get hit in the eye or the face with that thing. So once you pop that off, and we look at, this is the old one, and I'll show you here, that flat spring, this is part of that flat spring. So you can see what it does on that ball, that round ball. This flat spring grabs hold of it, and so when you pry it up, it opens it up to release it from gripping that ball. So that's how that thing basically works. So you say you got your old one off, you got to prop this trunk up with something. I used a broom because that's dead weight. It will fall down on you. It is heavy. So when you put this back on, it's real easy right here. You can see the flat spring. All you do, you don't have to use a screwdriver on this now. You just put it up here on the ball and just push it, and it pops. And that's done. And then down here, put it down here on the ball, and you may have to raise your trunk up a little bit because this thing does not move up or down very much. And grab it down toward the end and just push it, and it pops. Should be done in 4 minutes on putting this on. It's really simple. Okay, and the problem I was having is that, man, this trunk is all the way up right here, and I mean, this shock is just throwing it all the way up. But anyway, the problem I was having was when I first started picking up the trunk on it, and it was just dead weight. It felt like a 10-pound bag of sugar, and it's like, man, that thing's heavy to pull up. Not that 10 pounds is that heavy, but I mean, this has got shocks on it, or supports, whatever you want to call them, and it didn't pop up when you hit your trunk release. It didn't pop up very quickly. So on the trunk release, press it twice. I could tell from the sound of that it popped up a lot quicker and harder than before. Now, instead of having to use my whole hand to pick this thing up, I use 2 fingers, and I pick it up about 6 inches. Okay, about 6 inches, where I had to pick up the whole trunk. The weight of it felt like. Pick it up with 1 finger right here, about 6 inches from the gate here, and see, it stays in place, and I can push it up, and it just opens all the way up perfectly. So that was the problem. And AutoZone Stabilis Lift-O-Mat, $64 for both of these. And so that's a quick fix, and that makes me happy about the trunk, making it so much easier. I told the dealership, I said the trunk needs something, and they said, no, that's the way these things are. It's like, they know they don't want to do it. But I mean, that wouldn't have been much money, and it wouldn't have taken them a couple of minutes to fix or repair, depending on where you live. So yeah, I'm tickled at that. Again, instead of having to grab this whole thing and pick it up with your hand, you can use 1 finger, and right there, within 5 inches, it's it's weightless. Right here it's weightless. Doesn't weigh anything. You just push barely. So I know it's not a big deal for some people, but you can make things easier on yourself, right? So I just want to share that with you on putting these lift support on the SRT in this case. All of them about the same, RT, SRT, SXT, all that stuff. They're no big deal. Thanks for watching, guys. Gary J.